All right, welcome back to another episode of Unbound Being, and today I wanted to talk about death and how death is actually life. Death is life. Now, that's a really weird statement. So what do I mean with that, right? Because as unbound beings, we want to really be unbound by the ideas that hold us captive, that hold us trapped in a certain realm where there's more suffering, there's more negativity, there's more pain and war and things like that, right? So all the negative stuff, so all the names you could give to those things which are not good. They're accepted by life, but they're not good. And one of the things that are really keeping us trapped is this thing about death, and death being somehow bad. We have life, and we say, and death, but really it's not that way at all. It's life altogether. And the reason I want to say death is change is because you'll realize that the death or the change of a situation is really the death of another situation. So if I have my hand here, and now I have my hand here, that other situation where my hand was over here is dead, right? This is here, now it's not, and basically that's the basis of all life. And so death is life, because death is change. If you could look at everything, right? For example, this body that's sitting here that you're looking at right now, and that body which you are right there sitting on that chair or wherever you are watching this, is never the same. It's never been the same. Your body has never been in the same position, and even if it was sitting exactly in the same position, your hair wasn't in the same position. The food in your body wasn't in the same position. The sugar levels in your blood level were not the same position. Your adrenaline, your age, your position, and even then, all the things around you are not the same. So basically, there has not been 1 second, 1 millisecond, 1 moment in life that anything has been the same. And the reason I can speak, that I can even do this, is because of the frames, right? We have frames. They say the universe has 22 trillion frames a second. I don't know where I got the information, but that's what they say, right? Now this camera, which is filming at God knows how many frames per second, is doing the same thing. Basically, all that we know, all that we are, all that we can, basically the reasons we can think and move is because something is willing to give. Something is willing to die. Something is willing to change. So change is life. Now that's a really awkward way of looking at it, but it means for us, what it means for us is that change or death, the death of one situation is the birth or the life of the next. And that is the very mechanics, the very basis of how the universe works. At least the physical universe works like that. This vibration, the vibration of my voice, which is nothing but an on-off, like the light, if you have a fast enough camera, is an on and off, it's a flickering, it's a flickering, it's a fluttering, it's an on and off. The entire universe is an on and off. So life thrives, or life is because of death. Life is allowed to be because of change. If there was no change, no dying of an old situation to allow a new situation, then there would be no life. Life is actually life, death, life, death, life, death, life, death, life, death. It's really the on and off. It's the infinite flickering of the universe. That's why all the things in the planet, on the universe, is vibration, right? Vibration is a wave. It's a up and a down, and an in and an out, and up and a black and a white, and that's what it is. Life and a death. So life is actually the same as death. Death is nothing to fear, nor nothing to mourn. And of course we do. I mean, you could say, life is nothing to fear, or death is nothing to fear. And actually we do. We fear lots of things, and I do too. So I put myself on that same place. Sometimes, you get something that grips you, and you're bound by it, and that's not what we want to be, right, as unbound beings. But you do. Sometimes there's just even a small thing. You might drop something on your new jeans or on your new shirt, and you're like, spaghetti on my thing. You basically can't accept the death of where the shirt was clean, and then that next moment, which was allowed by life, which is what changes, which is what life is, and then boom, now there's a new situation. Shirt plus spaghetti stain, right? Or jeans plus whatever stain, right? Now it's an oil stain, whatever it's on there. So you can't accept it. And sometimes you go, come on, like how could it be? Just bought this thing yesterday, right? Well, that's because life wants you to actually stay in the moment. It wants you to say, hey, you know, there is no such thing except the one thing, and that is now. There's no such thing as being gone. There's no such thing as being dead. There's only change. Change of what we are, infinite beings, the ultimate consciousness, the infinite original being of life itself, right here, right now. All of it is what we are. I am it, you're it, everything is it. And it changes every single moment. If you can't even say every single moment. It doesn't really exist. There's only the moment. And in this moment, which is really not this moment, it's the moment, all is changing. And yet, the one thing that's stable in it it's this moment, the moment. The moment itself is stable. If you can be the moment, if you can hold your presence, your attention in this moment, in the moment, then all things that change are not you, but you are the moment. And in that sense, life is death, or you could say change is death, and yet all that is will always be. And it's really funny to look at it that way, because it makes you realize that what we call death is nothing else but that moment where you can do something and reach another goal, where you can move. You're killing it, literally, right? You're killing it every moment. That's when they say you're crushing it. Well, you're killing it, right? It's an expression. You're killing it because you're really thriving. You know, you're really, as an unbound being, you're going for it. You're unstoppable, right? That is to be an unbound being, right? You're killing it. What are you killing? You're killing every moment that comes before it, or before the next thing that has to come. Allow the universe to come through you. Allow everything to manifest. And sure, assess. Look what's going on. Try to avoid those things that cause pain, but accept the fact that life is exactly life because of death. And that's why people say there's no good and there's no bad. There's no real wrong or right. There's only what is, and it's the. And if you can't let go of that moment before, where you say it was better, and you can't accept the new moment, that's where the pain comes. And I might do it all the time, right? We all do it all the time, but that's why we have these talks, to try to keep us sharp on this fact, right? That we are life, we are the universe, we are this ever-moving, ever-present, omnipotent, infinite being which is continuously changing, and yet at the basis of it is always there. It, without it. And then there's all these things that change. And if we say, well, the shirt without the stain was good and the shirt with the stain is bad, and then we focus on that and we forget all the good other stuff that's going on in our life, and then we become bound, we shrink in our being, we become bound in our being. And in that sense, we have to look at life is actually the process of change. And that is actually the same as death. Death is the death of one situation to allow another situation. If you can't let go of this moment, then that moment, the next moment can't be. And then you got this, we're all frozen into a nothingness, which you could say there's nothing more happening. We'd be all one concrete block, because we can't allow change. We can't allow death, the death of old situations, so we can have the birth of new situations, which is every microsecond, fraction of a second, and is the longer run, like the life of a sun, which might be a couple of billion years before the sun becomes extinct. Well, other things are just fraction of a second. The sound of my voice, boom, and it's gone. So, I hope you enjoyed that, and see you next time on these talks about unbound being and freeing ourselves from those limitations that we put on ourselves and keep us bound. Enjoy your day.